how did you get to a band like Kiss? Because this was a marketing miracle.
Okay, so I'm at MCA, and MCA after 6 months sent me to San Francisco to do West Coast regional special projects. And I was a young green guy just out of college, and all of a sudden I'm dropped into San Francisco where, the San Francisco sound was just overflowing with major acts like the Big Brother and the Holding Company and Jefferson Airplane and the Grateful Dead and Quicksilver Messenger Service, and I fell in love with San Francisco. I fell so in love with San Francisco that I thought, this is it. I love San Francisco. I never want to leave. I love the music business. I love what I'm doing. I really had the good fortune to work with wonderful people and have an enormous amount of success. I had 2 or 3 wonderful job offers to move to Los Angeles, and I passed on them all because I became this prima donna in San Francisco, and I never wanted to leave. And at some point, I think I realized that if I'm going to take advantage and really take this music career as far as I can, sooner or later I have to end up in Los Angeles or New York. And I was offered a national job at ABC Dunhill, which at the time had Rufus and Chaka Khan, Steely Dan, Three Dog Night, and a number of other acts.
Oh my God.
MCA had offered me a national position to kind of, take my career to the next step within the company that, gave me the opportunity in the music business. And again, I had this kind of prima donna attitude that I want to stay in San Francisco. I think it's the most beautiful city on earth, and there was so much happening there in the music business. And then, one day I woke up and thought, good grief, if I'm going to really take advantage of this and make a career out of the music business, I better not be complacent, and I better, seize the opportunity to take a national position. And Neil Bogart, the founder and president of Casablanca Record and Filmworks, called and asked if I'd come down and chat with him, and I thought, I've got the world to gain and nothing to lose by doing that. And I went down there, and Neil told me about his vision. Neil is really a marketing genius. Neil was the guy that invented bubble gum with the 1910 fruit gum, whatever they were called, company.
He invented bubble gum?
He invented bubblegum music, definitely. And Neil, by the way...
I thought you meant the chewy kind.
No. There was a genre of music called bubblegum way back, long before you, Laura. You're far too young. So he started playing me music that he was getting involved in. And, I had heard Kiss, who were just starting to make some noise at Casablanca, and Neil had painted me this wonderful picture. It offered me a salary light years beyond what I was making. It was a company car, which was a new Porsche, and it was just, Neil did everything first class, over the top. And I said, I am so flattered. I am so grateful. The opportunity sounds fantastic, but I must tell you, I've never acknowledged the presence of Kiss, and I don't think I can do it. I really believe I'm a music man, and I don't believe there's a fit with me and Casablanca because of Kiss. And he continued to talk about compensation and insurance and cars and this and that, and one thing led to another, and I thought, well, this is really interesting. And Kiss are, in fact, only one act on this very small label. Maybe I can work with other acts. And, I went back home and talked to my family, and everyone said, I think we should do it. and Neil, by the way, is such a brilliant man that I thought, you know what, let's seize the moment. And I called Neil from San Francisco, and I said, I've decided to accept your position. Thank you very much. I said, come Monday, tell me what you'd like me to do. And he said, I want you to fly to Salt Lake City. Kiss are playing there tonight. Go see him. Your credentials will be at the ticket window, and you call me after you see him. When I went to check into the hotel, I couldn't get through the front door because there were about 10,000 screaming fans. At one point in time, I think Kiss became the biggest band in the world. So you really have to understand that their following was off the dial. And I went and saw the show, and although I wasn't a huge fan of their music, their show was second to none. It was Barnum and Bailey. It was the greatest show on earth. If the music started to lag, something would happen every 5 minutes. The guitar would fly off of Ace Frehley and shoot to the moon, or he'd be shooting rockets off the end of his guitar, or flames would come shooting out of, or Gene spitting blood, or you just never knew. The drum riser, went 20 feet in the air with Peter on it. And it was just astounding what I saw, and the reaction, and the fans, half of them adorned in Kiss makeup. And I was really taken back by the show. Maybe not the music at that point, but the show. And I went back to my hotel room, I called home, and I said, "You're not going to believe what I saw." And I'm telling my family and my friends what I witnessed and how amazed I was at what I saw. And I hear this commotion outside, and I open the door, and it's Ace Frehley with 3 or 4 groupies laughing and screaming. He's got a bottle of Mum's half open, pouring it in his mouth. He turns around, and one thing led to the next, and Ace and I developed a relationship. He's actually the godfather of my son, and so that was Kiss. I ended up working very, very closely with Kiss. I worked with them on the studio. I worked with them on the road. That's Kiss, yeah.
And so you would actually help them choose material for the album?
We talk about material. Choosing material for the album really was not anything I had to do with Kiss because they wrote their own music. So, the music was pretty much determined, but we talk about concept and design and what perhaps the album should look like. And then we'd go on the road, and I'd coordinate the press with them. I'd coordinate the media.
And so the point that you stepped in, where were they? And then what happened at the end? How did it finish?
Well, Kiss had released 2 albums, and there was starting to be a groundswell because it was their touring, because radio didn't play much Kiss, okay? But it was really when they released Kiss Alive.
Which third, fourth?
It was the 3rd album, and it sold, about 2 million copies in about 6 days. It was just off the dial, and it was a groundswell from touring. It was about getting in front of an audience and building a following, and that's what Kiss did. Kiss started opening for the New York Dolls. The New York Dolls ended up opening for Kiss shortly thereafter. So.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because that example from the 1970s is very similar to what you have to do today. Because the music industry, disagree with me if you will, is in a shambles.
Yeah, it's really in a sad, sad state. It really is. I don't know if it was the attorneys that got involved that may have been the beginning of the end for the record business, but so much money was going in the wrong directions, and it wasn't going to the artist.
Why did you leave the music industry? Because you went then later into different branding areas, different businesses.
Yeah, I left Casablanca when Polygram got involved. We became very, very successful at Casablanca, and we had a number of left-to-center acts that all ended up dead center, not the least of which were Kiss.
Casablanca was kind of known for taking all the acts that the majors wouldn't take, yeah?
We took a lot of reject acts like Kiss, like Village People, Donna Summer. Donna Summer had a song called Love to Love You Babe, produced by Giorgio Moroder, which was, a 16-minute song, and it said that there were 18 orgasms in the song. And, not bad.